But with that being said, I'm taking my talents to University of Kansas University.
Oh!
Rock chalk, man. Rock chalk. You feel me? Rock chalk.
Welcome to a Good Evening KU special report. Today we got news that Tyran Stokes has committed to the University of Kansas. Anson, how are we feeling?
Absolutely huge. I mean, a five-star talent like this, Bill Self was practically raving about him. He's the first #1 overall ranked draft class candidate to come to KU since who? What player?
Oh, that would be Andrew Wiggins.
Wow, great pull. Showing off the ball knowledge early.
You already know. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited to see what he can bring, especially with, TK.
Yeah, that's exciting, too. 2 5-stars. I mean, KU's class is really climbing up there.
Insane.
I believe we're now second in all of NCAA. Second to what school, though? I'm going to trivia you again.
To what school and what?
In recruiting. Recruiting classes coming up next year. They're kind of an enemy around here, but they're not in our conference.
UConn?
No, not exactly. We're looking for Arkansas. Unfortunately, he's #1 right now, which is much to a lot of chagrin of KU fans, hoping we don't meet him in the tournament again.
I hope not. Well, I think we're going to get on to talking about the NFL draft that was this weekend. It was very, very entertaining time of the year. I love seeing where all my favorite college players are going.
It was pretty exciting. I mean, we had 2 Jayhawks that were selected in the draft in the 5th and 6th rounds.
Wow, that's amazing. You love to see the representation. We don't get a lot of it.
Yeah, really coming into prominence. Got the new
stuff.
football stadium, so really everything's got to step up now.
Yeah.
I believe it's Enrique Cruz in San Francisco, who went in the 5th round, and then Emmanuel Henderson, wide receiver, going in the 6th round to Seattle.
Wow, that's going to be interesting. That's going to be really fun.
With the Emerald City route artist right by with him.
That's my guy. That's my guy.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the first overall, though? A little Fernando Mendoza action.
Honestly, I thought that was pretty exciting. I mean, he just had such a great story, transferring from Cal, going all the way up to the highest level, bringing Indiana back to prominence. I mean, how do you not love it? And he's a LinkedIn legend.
Oh, my gosh. I love his LinkedIn stuff. That kid really knows how to draft. I'm pretty happy about it. I'm a Broncos fan, so I get to see him twice a year. And also, he's still on the Raiders, so it's still not going to be a real threat for a little bit.
So you're not too worried,
Not terribly worried, no.
What are some other draft picks you liked?
I was a real fan of the Mekhi Lemon. I know you were big on that Emmett Johnson, but yeah, I was a big fan of Mekhi Lemon. I like the Eagles. I know it's a hot take around these parts especially.
Yeah,
but
no kidding.
The Eagles are really interesting to me, and him and Smitty. They're going to be so tough out there.
Do you think he's a possible A.J. Brown replacement?
I think so. Yeah. I think that they're trying to get A.J. Brown out of there as soon as possible.
Yeah, he does not seem very long to be in a Philadelphia jersey.
Very true, very true.
And I know you kind of touched on Emmett Johnson already. As a Nebraskan and a Vikings fan, I really wish he came to Minnesota, but unfortunately, it is what it is. We just had to pick somebody else. Yeah. And guess where he gets to go? Ridiculous.
Unfortunate.
The Kansas City Chiefs, we hear enough about him, at least it feels like to me.
For sure. I mean, I think it'll be definitely an interesting running back room. One of my favorites in the league right now with Kenneth Walker and Emmett Johnson. I'm really interested to see how that's going to play out, even as a Broncos fan. It's still going to be interesting. Talking about least favorites, though, Ty Simpson, man. What are we doing, guys? I mean, 13th overall?
Yeah, it was pretty high up there. Second quarterback off the board, if I remember right.
I didn't see him leaving. I didn't see him in the first round, is what I mean. I didn't expect.
High pick.
And especially to the Rams. I mean, especially, you got Stafford. I think they could have got a little bit of time, even though he's getting old.
Just won an MVP, though.
Just won an MVP. What are we talking about?
Well, I mean, on the flip side, do you think he's the perfect person to mentor, bring in that next era of Rams football?
I mean, as much as I just talked bad about Ty Simpson right there.
Got to give him some credit first.
I like the guy.
Yeah, Personally, you have no beef with him.
Right. Me and him, we're chill. We're
connected on LinkedIn.
For sure. Yeah. Okay, he drafts some of my stuff. Yeah, it's a whole thing. But yeah, I mean, I think that's all we got for the draft there. Any other thoughts that you have on?
I think it was overall a good draft class. I mean, every year it's so exciting to see all these guys rise to prominence, and a lot of KU guys got drafted and then signed. So seeing a lot of Jayhawks at the next level is pretty exciting.
You love to see it. You really
so with that kind of moving on, I believe we're going to move on to our hosting duties now, which we're moving on. Kenzie, how are you doing today?
Good. Welcome back to hosting. So on Monday, KU campus was closed until 12 p.m. due to severe weather. Did you have any damage to your car or your house?
I was kind of really worried. I mean, we see all those huge branches that fell down. The hail was so crazy. I woke up at 5 a.m. because it was just so loud pattering. I was so worried for my car, but don't worry, the 2003 Honda is still going strong.
That's how I was too. Outside of my house, we had many tree branches fall, and someone's car is totally wrecked. The windshield is shattered, but
Dang.
thankfully, my roommates and I's cars were right behind it. So we got
Like the
really
shield, the cover,
yes,
huh?
we got really lucky there. But yeah, I woke up too. The hail was so loud.
It was
Not
so
a
just
fun
damaging
time.
and all
Yeah.
that. But not even that. With KU losing power, a lot of classes were canceled till noon.
Mm-hmm.
I missed 2 classes on Monday I didn't have to go to.
Yeah, I did as well. A little bit of a nice break, but with finals coming up here,
Unexpected,
yeah.
Not the time we need
Not
breaks or anything.
No, a little worrisome that we can't get projects going for a day, but
How are you feeling about finals? You stressed out? You relaxed? What do you think?
I'm honestly pretty relaxed. My finals are all online or like I can do them in class, so I really don't have to stay too long for that week.
Well, that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
You know, easy to transition out.
It
Unfortunately,
is.
I'll be lingering a little longer around here, but
Yeah.
this is how it is.
And you're graduating, correct?
Yeah, hopefully.
How do you feel about that?
It's weird, you know, you be in a place for so long. I've been at KU for 4 years that it kind of feels odd to end this chapter, but I'm pretty excited to move on. It comes to a point where you're ready. I think I'm ready.
Yeah, and what are your plans for after graduation?
So this fall, I'll be in Berlin for about 4 months
Wow.
studying at a university there. So I'm pretty excited to go do that.
That's so awesome. Well, wishing you all the best of luck
Yeah,
with
I really
that.
appreciate that. I'm not too much of a world traveler, so we'll have to test it out and see how it goes. But
Yeah, I mean, I think after graduation is the perfect time to kind of slow down and figure yourself out and explore the world. So that's awesome.
that's what I'm hoping. I've really never been out of the country too much, so I don't know if you have too much experience with that, but would you have any tips?
I've actually never been. I've been to Mexico, so not really world traveler yet, but
so we're both working on it, is what
we're
I'm
both
hearing.
working on it. Yeah. My summer plans. I am actually going to Japan this
Oh,
summer
wow.
after school.
Yeah.
Just with my parents. So we're gonna explore Tokyo for a little bit.
Whoa.
Yeah, and then I'll be working every day after that. So not too much fun.
Now, that's a far flight. I mean, that's got to be all the way across the ocean. How long is that flight?
I think it's about 13 hours.
Oh, jeez.
Out of Minneapolis.
Oh,
So
well, that's not
yeah,
too bad then.
I'm planning to get a little eye mask and
Just go fall asleep and be
and
out.
some
huh?
melatonin, and yeah.
That doesn't sound too bad. I think that's about it. Do you have anything else?
I don't think so. Yeah.
So we're going to have a great show. It's second to last. The year's winding down. And after this, we'll have a senior interview. So stay tuned.
Take care of yourself this final season.
And welcome back. I'm Jamie, and I'm here with
Lyons.
and she is a part of our KU rowing team. She's a part of Playmakers, and she also is a graduating senior. So I'm just going to ask you a couple questions, and I think that it would be really interesting for the crowd to know, like, what you've been doing all of college.
Of course.
So what has been your favorite memory of KU?
I think it's definitely been covering women's basketball. I think that's where I got a lot of my experience as a sports reporter, and just the experience that I got with the runs that the women's team has been able to make has just been really cool to work in a sport that I used to play like basically my whole life from when I was like super little all the way through high school. So.
Yeah. And what are you going to miss the most about Kansas and about KU?
Yeah, I think it's, stereotypical answer, but I think the people for sure. I think I've met a lot of good friends and mentors here that helped kind of get me to where I want to be and make me the person I am. So I'll definitely feel feel sad leaving those people behind.
Yeah, no, I get that. That's so amazing. And what are you trying to do after college? Do you have any plans yet?
I do, yeah. So I will be the new sports anchor and reporter at KUYC, which is a station in Mankato, Minnesota. So I'll be moving there after graduation.
That'll be very, very fun. And I'm going to ask you about rowing now. So how did you get into that? When did you start?
Yeah, so that was a freshman year kind of adventure. I wanted to actually walk onto the track team and try out for that, but I got an email to try out for the rowing team and figured I got nothing to lose. I came here for academics, so I'm like, if sports works out, great. If not, oh well.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, rest is history. Made the team, and now we're here.
Perfect. So. And how excited are you to finish out your career with these last 2 weeks of rowing that you have?
It's really, really amazing. It's definitely kind of been slow to hit me that, we're wrapping things up and, we'll be rowing at Big 12s during graduation. So I feel like that might also have something of it doesn't feel like I'm graduating. But it's sad, but it's like a bittersweet. I'm glad about all the people that I've met, all the experiences I've had, but some of the workouts I will definitely not miss. Yeah. So
would you recommend rowing for other people coming in?
I think so, yeah. I think it really tests you physically, but also really mentally. So I think I've definitely been able to get a lot of toughness in both those areas, and it's definitely really team-based, and you got to rely on the girls that are around you. And so I think that has just been really cool experience to have.
For sure. And in terms of playmakers, would you suggest that for people coming in, journalism?
I would definitely recommend doing that. I did that starting my freshman year, and I think that's definitely where I got a lot of my experience and basic knowledge of how to cover sports and make packages and man on the streets and all those things that I needed to kind of help sell myself for my job that I'm going to have after college. So I would highly recommend that, and just all the people that you meet on that staff is really amazing too.
What is the biggest thing that you're going to miss from Playmakers?
I think the biggest thing is the show days that we had. We had the donuts beforehand, so you got to do that and just talk with all your peers and just kind of figure out how everyone's segments came together, and just doing run-throughs in the studio, just having fun, getting loose before you guys went on camera. It was just, that environment was just so fun.
Awesome. Do you have anything else to share with us today?
Just KU is an amazing school for journalism. That's why I picked it, and I don't think I'd be where I am or gotten the opportunities that I've gotten without this school and the mentorship through the J schools. So yeah, Rock Chalk forever.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming in and sharing with us today.
Of course.
And after this quick break, we will be back with news.
You may not hear it at first, but it's there. Our chant, rising. On this summit, callings converge, voices unify into a chorus that sounds out for good, for greatness. Can you hear it?
Welcome back to Good Evening KU. I'm Reagan, here with your weekly news update. A California teacher, Cole Thomas Allen, has been charged with attempting to assassinate President Donald Trump after allegedly opening fire at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Prosecutors say this attack was planned weeks in advance, with Allen traveling cross-country and reserving a hotel room ahead of the event. He now faces multiple federal charges, including attempted assassination, and could face life in prison if convicted. In other news, the Kansas State High School Activities Association has voted to officially sanction girls flag football, making Kansas the 18th state to recognize the sport and opening the door for statewide competition, funding, and a state championship beginning in the 2026-2027 school year. Backed by efforts from the Kansas City Chiefs in their Let Her Play campaign, supporters say this decision will expand opportunities for female athletes and help to legitimize a rapidly growing sport with potential pathways to college and even Olympic play. As the conflict in Iran enters its third month, the global energy crisis shows no sign of letting up as peace talks stall. U.S. gas prices have hit a record high since the start of the conflict, rising to an average of $4.23 per gallon nationwide. This milestone follows a surge in oil prices over the past week, amid a dual blockade by the United States and Iran of the Strait of Hormuz, the key choke point in the region for transiting crude and petroleum-based products out of the Persian Gulf. Lawrence community members are being invited to join a May Day demonstration at the University of Kansas on May 1st, beginning at the Ecumenical Campus Ministries and ending at Fraser Hall before a series of speeches and demonstrations. The event, which includes a Solidarity Fest connecting attendees with local activist groups, comes amid ongoing protests following a no-confidence vote and KU Chancellor Douglas Gerard, with organizations encouraging students' participation despite restrictions on public employee strikes in the state of Kansas. King Charles III and Queen Camilla continued their visit to Washington, D.C. with a mix of ceremony, diplomacy, and historical reflection on Tuesday, including a White House arrival with military honors, an Oval Office meeting with President Donald Trump, and a state dinner featuring speeches on the enduring U.S.-UK alliance. King Charles also delivered a historic address to Congress, praising shared values and later presenting Trump with a World War II-era submarine bell as a symbolic gift, underscoring military cooperation and the special relationship between the two nations.
For 250 years, the ingenuity and imagination of the people of the United States have been an inspiration to the world. This land of opportunity has nourished some of humanity's greatest minds, from the industrial age to the space age. So many miracles of the modern world have been and still are invented in America.
That's all we have for news this week. Now over to Jane with sports.
Thanks, Reagan. The baseball team moved up 5 spots to number 11 in the national ranking after last weekend's sweep of K-State. After last night's victory over Wichita State, the Jayhawks are 34-11 overall and lead the Big 12 by 3 games at 15-2. The conference series this weekend is with Arizona. First pitches are at 6 p.m. on Friday, 2 p.m. on Saturday, and noon on Sunday. The softball team is 33-16 overall and 12-5 in the Big 12. The Jayhawks will travel to Stillwater this weekend to close out the regular season with a 3-game series against Oklahoma State. The Cowboys are currently in 3rd place in the conference standings, with KU just behind by 1 game. No KU relays this year, but the Jayhawks will host one more meet this weekend at Rock Chalk Park. The pole vaulters will be among the featured athletes at the Rock Chalk Classic, which begins at 1 p.m. on Friday and continues through 4:30 p.m. on Saturday. Last weekend, Anthony Meacham set a new outdoor school record at 5 meters 80, which is just over 19 feet, and Mason Myershagen won her 5th straight competition, clearing 4 meters 22, which is just over 13 feet 10 inches. The rowing team placed 10th in the Lake Wheeler Invitational in North Carolina last weekend. This was the best chance for the Jayhawks to see how they stack up against the top 25 competition. The Big 12 competitions are May 17th in Sarasota, Florida, and nationals are May 29th and 30th in Gainesville, Georgia. The men's golf team wrapped up the Big 12 championship earlier today at the Prairie Dunes Country Club in Hutchinson, Kansas. The women's Big 12 tournament was last weekend in Dallas, and the Jayhawks finished 9th. And finally, the tennis team was selected on Monday for the NCAA Nationals Championships. The Jayhawks will travel to Oklahoma to play the 6th seed Sooners on Saturday. This selection marks the 15th time Kansas was qualified for nationals. That's all we have for sports, and that's all we have for Good Evening KU. Be sure to check in next week for our final episode, and tomorrow for Good Morning KU.